I hate to break the fishing news up, Yaremchuk, but I'd like to speak about the ice hockey.
Congratulations, you're one of the 13 listeners of the Real Life Podcast.
We just traded a migraine in for like an orgasm.
Might want to mark that down, Yaremchuk.
Yep. All of my projects are on schedule until they're not.
A member of the Nation Network of Podcasts.
About as funny as we're going to get today.
Welcome in episode 273 of the Real Life Podcast. I'm Tyler Yaremchuk. Chalmers, Jay, Bag Milk, they're all here. This podcast is brought to you by Oodle Noodle. Local eats, absolutely delicious. 14 locations in the Edmonton area. One is coming to St. Albert. It's so close, I can smell the nudes in the air. There's a buzz about town. People are talking about the Oodle Noodle coming to St. Albert. Check them out online. They're also available on your favorite food service delivery app. As we start recording, we are getting news. Oilers Canucks, originally scheduled for tomorrow night, is not happening. Elliot Friedman confirming the news 12 seconds ago. Actually, you know what he's doing? He's confirming a Jason Gregor report because Gregor had it a couple minutes before that as well.
Attaboy, Gregor.
Yep, attaboy Gregor of the DFO rundown, of course. So no Oilers against the Canucks tomorrow night. I figured let's just start by, let's go around.
Really not surprising though, is it?
I was going to say, Bag Milk, you go first. Right move, surprising move. What's your take?
I mean, I was obviously hopeful that they would be able to play, but then as the date got closer and you could still see that most of their fucking team was on the COVID protocol list. They hadn't had a practice. They would have basically had to ice an AHL team for at least a chunk of it. And then yesterday after JT Miller came and just like scorched the earth in his presser, I was just like, there's no way this is going tomorrow. There's just no way. So I was hopeful for a Friday game. I didn't expect it. But then also, you know what, selfishly, Tyler, the Oilers would have had to play tomorrow night in Vancouver and get done whenever they got done, and then immediately jump on a plane and fly to Brandon, Manitoba and drive into Winnipeg. Like that's a tough turnaround for a back-to-back weekend too. So
yeah,
it's a 2-hour time change, isn't it?
Yeah, and it is. And teams who travel for the second game of a back-to-back in the North Division have like a 200 winning percentage this year in the North. So the Oilers, in a way, like I see people online already, oh, Canucks are forfeiting. Oilers should have gotten these easy 2 points. I don't give a shit. They're not going to play the crappy team, but they're going to be more rested for a big game against Winnipeg Saturday night. No complaints from me on this from an Oilers perspective. No complaints from me on this from a human perspective. Like those Canucks players have sat now for 3 weeks and you wanted them to just pick up and go after a morning skate and one somewhat full practice where they only have like 2/3 of their team. Get real.
Here's the thing also, like the NHL under the best of circumstances, and there's no COVID, would never have a team play with no practice time. Think of a season when it starts. There's the preseason, or there's training camp, then there's the preseason, and then that first handful of games is a complete gong show. And the Canucks would just be like, well, I know a lot of you are still having a hard time breathing or whatever. You know, I know various reporting depending on which players were. But for JT Miller to come out and say that he had teammates that were struggling to catch their breath after walking up the stairs, and then the NHL was going to like, yeah, that's fine. You guys go ahead and play. Like, it was never going to happen.
And if you're an Oilers fan who's pissed off about this, imagine the scenario the other way around. Imagine if the Oilers had to go into a game against the Canucks after not playing for 3 weeks, and the word was like, oh, by the way, like no Draisaitl, you're missing 3 other forwards, you're missing 3 defensemen, you're probably going to have to start Stuart Skinner between the pipes. Like if all that was happening, Oilers fans would be very vocal about why are they playing already? They shouldn't have to rush into this.
Exactly.
Okay, but you know why I think the majority of Oilers fans might be acting this way right now, and I'm going to call it out. And it's the same thing I've had a problem with Oilers fans is at times we can be a little selfish, right? Like there's not a lot to look forward to right now. There's not a lot of getting together with your friends and weekends, and the weather's nice. And we haven't had hockey in 4 days now. And, you know, I was looking forward to the game. Immediately when you said that game wasn't happening, my split second reaction was, well, that fucking sucks. I was looking forward to a game on Friday, right?
Absolutely.
And that's understandable. But if you Oilers fans take it any further than that, before you reach a point where you go, this is completely unfair to the Vancouver Canucks and this game should not be played. And yes, we still get a game on Saturday. If you can't get there and you just are, you know, pissed off, that's just selfish. I mean, it's selfish. And I find that trait a lot in Oilers fans sometimes.
It's, you know what? It sucks. I'm with Chalmers. It's like, I was looking forward to sitting down tomorrow night, Friday night, have a couple of drinks, watch the hockey game, but it's a bigger story than just a.
And we still get a game Saturday. It's not like we got to go the whole weekend now.
Yeah, we're going to watch them against Winnipeg on Saturday,
I just want to add a disclaimer here. When we talk about some Oilers fans, we are talking about a very, very small subset of Oilers
vocal
fans.
minority.
Yeah, the problem is
I just want to defend Oilers fans. We're all fantastic people, there's just that decimal of percentage of the fandom that, yes, Chalmers, you're right.
If you'd like to find that decimal of the fandom, go into Robin Brownlee's article from yesterday in the comment section. They're all sitting there.
And you know what? The majority of them, unfortunately, they don't listen to this to get our perspective and to maybe get some words of wisdom. Most of the people I think that listen to this and correspond with us on a daily basis, I don't believe they're the ones that are going to be.
They're like us. Yeah, you're
pissed off. You know what I mean?
It sucks, but it is.
It's hard. Yeah, it is. It sucks. It is what it is. It's the same ones that just probably used to call into radio shows and give half-assed opinions that made everybody crazy. And so
I've also
they're out there.
To me, my bigger problem is my boy's not playing this weekend at all, according to Jason Gregor. Nuge still battling getting his bell rung, it seems like.
Yeah.
That sucks. Like that to me.
That does suck. Especially because we did nothing at the trade deadline. Like that really sucks.
To me, having Nuge miss out on Saturday as well, just because he clearly got his bell rung, to me, I'm more upset about that than tomorrow's game being postponed.
Saturday's game is big. Saturday's game is big.
Huge.
Do you agree with me that this season has felt like there's been a lot of positives and a lot of negatives that we all know, but one kind of glaring thing to me that's been a huge disappointment has kind of been everything to deal with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Like, we still don't have contract. We still are discussing contract. At the beginning, he started out playing well, but really he hasn't been playing well. Let's call a spade a spade. He has not been playing well in the last month and a half. And now he's out. I mean, this has been a season to forget for the guy, man. And like, it's a disappointing season for him, I'm sure. But like, we could have really used to not have that season for him this year. You know what I mean? Like,
might save you some money.
I wonder how.
Yeah, it's only bright side.
I wonder how much, like, obviously he got drafted 2011. We're 10 years out from that now. I wonder how much of like the contract negotiation on the only place he's ever known is weighing on him, in addition to, he doesn't have any confidence right now is the reality. Like, there are so many times, Tyler, I know we talk about this all the time with Nuge. There are so many times where he's had a good, clean look in the slot this year. And if this was a year ago, he buries it every single time. And this year he's either firing wide, he's going high or right into the chest. It's like, there's something weighing on him.
Sometimes you're shooting. Yeah, there's some weighing on him. Sometimes your shooting percentage goes a different direction, and we're kind of experiencing that. And you're right. There's a lot of weight on him, but also like this is a contract year. So the positive of that is, we can probably get into a pretty fair deal as a result of all this as well.
Businessman Ken Holland should be knocking on that agent's door and saying, come in here right now. Elephant in the room. Clearly, this is bothering him. I want him to play better. You want him to play better. I think it's time to make a deal. And hopefully that one's a little bit more favorable for the Oilers.
And also the thing too, just because I have to, President CEO, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins fan club, he's still, despite not playing well, still on pace for 58 points over a full season. So like it's not as disastrous as some people think, but I would certainly say he's not playing well.
He only has 12 even strength points this year. Like it is a rough year so far.
I forgot that power play points don't count.
Well, no, but I mean, a guy like that, if you're going to pay him $6 million, you want him to drive a little and produce a little at 5-on-5. I don't think that's unfair to say.
I don't think it's unfair to say either, but I would also suggest that 58 points over the course of a full year isn't a complete disaster either.
No, it's not.
No.
Okay. No, so all those kind of stats aside, the fact is he's not, the sight test is not there right now. We need him.
He's not playing well.
We fucking need him. Like,
yeah. I don't think anybody on this podcast would say that he's playing well. This isn't Ryan Nugent-Hopkins that we saw a year ago. It's just not. But I have to defend him. It's just not as big of a disaster as some people think.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But let's hope he can. It's shitty he got his bell rung because that has some lasting effects. Sure. But let's hope he can come back to the occasion for playoffs when it actually matters the most.
he needs to play better. Long and short of it, he has to play better in all three areas of the ice. Never going to argue against that.
You know what it is? He needs the mustache back. He turned his back on it and lost a bit of his essence. I bet you go for a Ryan Nugent Hopkins rebrand. Bring back the
stash.
Well, the Three Musketeers stash. I was trying to think of one of the Musketeer names. It starts with a D. Come on, help me. Dontarius? No.
Leonardo.
No.
What are you
Donatello? The D. Not Donatello. What are the Three Musketeers?
Michelangelo?
Names?
The Three Musketeers. No, I can't even name one of the Three Musketeers.
D'Artagnan.
My God.
I would have never got that without Google, by the way.
I didn't even know the Three Musketeers had names.
D'Artagnan.
I thought they were 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Oh God.
No, I would have never done that without Google.
Yeah.
Well, you people learned something today. And
so
yes, we did.
I wanted to mix in a little bit of hockey talk into today's episode. So I got another hypothetical for you guys. And this spawns from an interview I did with a junior hockey goalie yesterday, where I asked him a question about like late game scenarios and what he likes. So I want to hit you guys with this hypothetical. Let's say Oilers Jets round 1 of the playoffs goes to game 7. It goes to overtime. A magic genie grants you a wish. You can give the Oilers one of two things. You can give them a penalty shot where you pick the shooter, or you can give them 1 minute of 5-on-3 hockey to start overtime.
Penalty shot.
5-on-3. 5-on-3.
5-on-3. 5-on-3.
You don't think
the penalty shot's 50-50. You score in 1 minute, 5-on-3. You score 100% of the time. And if you don't, you're the fucking worst 5 hockey players I've ever heard.
I would counter with. I don't believe a penalty shot, Leon Draisaitl versus a goalie is 50-50.
That's a great question. What is Leon Draisaitl's shootout record?
Is Draisaitl the shooter
his shootout record? What's his shootout record against a Vezina winning goalie?
No,
I don't know if you do
I
it.
pick Connor.
Do you? Connor's not necessarily the best shootout guy either.
Leon Draisaitl is a career 1-for-1 in penalty shots.
But that's penalty shots. What is he in the shootout?
I don't know.
We never get a shootout this year, so it's hard to even.
That's a tough one. I just feel like,
doesn't that tell you something? They never go to a shootout when it's 3-on-3, lots of open ice. Add 2 more players. Like, come on, it's 5-on-3 all day.
But I could also see a scenario where Tyson's Berry's ripping shots into shin pads and nothing gets done. You know.
I'd go 5-on-3. I know the math is probably off there, but just we're way more lethal. Connor
100% of the time.
Connor will with only 3 people to oppose him, he will create the lane and get the other team in the position he needs them to be to feed Leon for the 1T and end it. Like 100%.
Connor 1-on-1 versus a goalie is not a 50-50 play.
I'd almost prefer it.
Here's the thing. There's two different Connors. There's breakaway Connor, and then there's shootout Connor. Breakaway Connor comes at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and the goalies don't have a chance. But shootout Connor isn't the same.
That's true.
Follow my logic on this one. I'd almost prefer to have 4-on-3 over 3-on-3 or 5-on-3 . Sorry. So 5-on-3. Those guys are going to sit back.
You are talking fucking crazy talk right now.
Listen to me.
He's off the rails. The milk's gone back.
He is in Kyle Turris party mode right now.
Listen to me. Here's the logic. Try and follow it if you can. 3-on-3 overtime.
If you can.
3-on-3 overtime is super wide open, right? Guys are getting caught out of position. There's always 2-on-1s because at 3-on-3, they're still being offensive. You go 4-on-3, those 3 are still going to try to be a little bit offensive. They're not just going to be mostly defensive. At 5-on-3, they're just going to sit back and defend a box the whole time. And so there'll be never any odd man rushes. I think
you only get a minute. I don't buy it, Charles. I'm sorry,
dude. This is that is the craziest thing I've ever heard.
That'd be like a team. That'd be like a team saying we're no longer pulling our goalie because there's not enough space when we pull our goalie, and the other team just tries to score on the empty net.
No, not what I said is crazy. Do you know what is crazy?
So your logic 4-on-3 and 5-on-4 is the same. So the team should be very offensive in a 5-on-4.
There's more ice.
Only one man.
No. There's more open ice at 4-on-3 than there is at 5-on-4.
Yeah, but you could also 5
Open
on
ice.
3, you could
Open
have like
Buddy,
2 people.
5
parked in
on
front of
3.
Open ice
when it's
mentally lets people think that there's more room to do things. Therefore, they do things they shouldn't. Like try to be offensive when it's 4 on 3. If it's what?
them. Or
Then just
Connor would
take
have
the
ended it
fifth
on the
player.
on the penalty shot 2 minutes ago.
Or just
Why do you
take-
think 3 on 3 is so wide open? Because there's
Well, it is
tons of
wide
ice.
open.
How is it not
even straight?
I just wide open. So why do you think having one less guy is more offensive? I don't get that. Well,
No,
5
it's
on
not.
3 and a
I never
5
said
on
it was
3.
more offensive.
Yes, you did. You said 4 on 3 is better than a 5 on 3.
The 3 players, if there's 5 on the other side, the 3 players on the other team are going to feel a need to be more defensive. But in that scenario, we want them to be offensive. We want them to feel the need to have to go and score. Therefore, if it's 4 on 3, they might feel that need a bit. They might think they can get an odd man rush. They might think they can get a jump. And if they do, that has a better percentage chance of somebody being out of position and allowing an odd man rush go the other way.
If
I
my
never
option is
said-
4 on 3, if my option's 4 on 3 or shootout, I'm going penalty shot.
But if it's 5 on 3 or
5 on
shot.
3. Because the players then turn into literally pylons. 5 on 3, the opposition are legitimately just moving pylons. You've got them hemmed in. You're in full control.
Can you look up a stat at the amount of times a team's been on 5 on 3 and what teams in the league, like I don't know, as a league whole, how many is it a 90% chance that you score on a 5 on 3?
No. I don't even think like if you were to just do
If it's 40%, I'd be shocked.
If you found the mean from 5 on 4, I know obviously 5 on 4 happens way more than 5 on 3, but if you could find the mean average of goals in each, I'll bet you anything 5 on 4 is higher.
Natural Stat Trick doesn't even have a 5 on 3 thing.
That is that is.
There's a lot of conjecture here, I believe.
You're posing a query that's never been asked. That's how silly it is.
Okay. Do you want to know what crazy is? I was listening to a podcast the other day with it's the economics of sport. Okay. And there's a guy who's proven that it is more beneficial to pull your goalie down by 1 at the 12-minute mark in the third period. If you fucking did that, your team would think you were crazy. But they say that the best time to pull your goalie when you're down by 1 is with 12 minutes left in the third.
I say the best time to pull your goalie is from the opening faceoff. Start out there with 6 men. Why not?
As soon as you're down by 1 in any game, pull them. Chalmers, that's been around for a while. And I think it was Rob Volman who did the pull goalie bot Twitter account. And like Patrick Waugh did this, man. Patrick Waugh was pulling his goalie with like 3.5, 4 minutes left. The thinking is you need a goal. Give yourself the most amount of time to score a goal. Teams don't pull their goalies until until later in the games because they're nervous about giving up the empty netter. But the mindset shouldn't be you're nervous about giving up the empty netter. The mindset should be I need to give my team as much time as possible to score a goal.
Right. So it's open-minded thinking like that. That would be on my side. I guarantee you, or Rob Volner. That scenario.
Your thinking is that
5 on 4, much better odds of scoring on a 5 on 4 or a 4 on 3 than a 5 on 3.
Chalmers, your line of thinking would be like if I said I'm pulling my goalie at the 4-minute mark, but not putting a 6th skater out because I want the other team to be more offensive.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
That is exactly what's going on.
That is exactly
what's going on. That is exactly what's going on.
You're twisting it. And I don't like it. I don't argue with people who twist it like that. Why would I say that? Have an open goal.
I don't know why you would say that.
We're not saying you said that.
there.
We're just saying here's a comparable like analogy to what you're trying to say.
Okay, so
that
you're
4 on 3 is better than 5 on 3.
Listen, you are a player on the side with 3, and you're going out there on a 5 on 3. There's 1 minute, and one team must score.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you on that 5 on 3 going to think at all about being offensive? No, you're going to be like, I'm just going to 100% stop this team from scoring. Yeah. But at 4 on 3,
well, it depends.
There'd be a little hold the fuck on. At
you
4 on 3,
they're going to cheat? You think they're going to cheat on a PK?
Is your mindset different if it's 4 on 3 over 5 on 3 as to how offensive you would be if you're on the side with 3 and you have 1 minute and one side must score?
No, because you don't want to give up the goal against and end the series. You want to just kill off the penalty. That is the mentality.
You only have 1 minute to score. That's what the fucking
No.
No, the
You only
scenario
have
was
1
we're
minute.
starting overtime.
Yeah, you have 1 minute at 5-on-3. There's not 1 minute left
total.
and it's 5-on-3.
Or a penalty
thought you
shot,
only had
and
1
this is
minute
game
total.
over. We're already in the showers by now. Because
Okay.
Connor scored.
Before we're going to bring in Jason Strudwick in a second here, and I'm going to float this one to Struddy too. But I just want to go around the horn. I want to get everyone's answers. Your dead answer to
I know what's going to happen. You're going to say, Struds, would you rather have 5-on-3 or 4-on-3 without explaining a single
He'll ask the
fucking
same
thing?
question. He'll ask the same question.
Yeah, I will.
No, but then when you say, you know what Chalmers said, I know
No,
how this
Chalmers
plays
would
out. Because
That's
I
what I'm
Chalmers
doing.
would rather be down. Chalmers' ideal final minute is to be down 5-on-4 because our guys will feel more
No,
offensive.
see, and this is the part that I know you're going to do. You're going to explain it wrong, and it's going to have a bias.
I'm not going to say anything. I want an honest opinion from Struds.
Okay. Here's the hypothetical. I want everyone's answers so I can post this nicely on Instagram after. The hypothetical.
4-on-3.
The Oilers are going into a Chalmers. If you cut me off one more time, I will sewer you to Strudwick. That's where I'm going.
Just mute his
Loud
mic
and clear.
throw him to Struds.
You are heading into overtime, game 7, Oilers versus Jets. You have a magic wish. You can either give the Oilers a penalty shot or 1 minute of 5-on-3 power play. Bagged Milk, you are firmly team penalty shot.
Yeah, give it to Connor.
Chalmers,
That
you are
takes out. Listen, if you give it to Connor on a penalty shot, the rest of the variables that Chalmers is going to throw into his answer are gone. It is
No.
Connor versus goalie. That is a tough matchup for the goalie.
I'm going to say
That is
straight.
one shot. That is Connor getting one shot. Where a 5-on-3, we can get 10.
You only need one, baby.
I'm
You
5-on-3.
can tell where I'm at.
5-on-3.
Chuck. I am team 5-on-3.
I know.
Yeah. 5-on-3.
I'm also team 5-on-3. I'd rather give McDavid and Draisaitl multiple chances than just take a risk at one. But it's an interesting debate because 5-on-3 is definitely the safe play. If you're into risky business, I can totally see why you would go penalty shot. I can totally understand it.
Risky business. Yes.
Bagmel, I also don't know why you would want to go 5-on-3 because a 5-on-3 gives Nuge the chance to get the game winner, the series clincher. We want nothing more than that.
I'm a team guy.
Okay,
Oilers win matters more.
One more thing. The guy misses the penalty shot, that momentum swings to start that.
Oh, yeah.
To start that period now.
I don't buy
Well,
momentum.
But if they
you don't buy
the same
thing if they kill off the 5-on-3.
if they kill off the 5-on-3, same thing, momentum.
And but also, if they kill off the 5-on-3, there's the opportunity of the door opening behind the.
But they're not
defenseman
killing
pass
off the
out.
5-on-3. That's the thing. It's a 5-on-3 for a minute.
The Oilers
there's a
have
minute
not
left on a
scored
5-on-3.
automatically on every 5-on-3 they've had over the last few years.
They also aren't scoring on every penalty shot automatically. Like, didn't McDavid have a really bad miss against like Carolina?
Yeah, where he completely duffed it
I'd probably put Josh Archibald.
on a
I
penalty
actually
shot.
was thinking that. I like Josh Archibald on a penalty
I do
shot.
too.
But I wouldn't do it for that. I wouldn't do it game 7. Fuck that.
I would do it then. If that's what we're doing, I'm doing Gaetan Haas, and he could do a clapper from the top of the circle.
If you want to get legit fired as the coach of the Edmonton Oilers, you put out Josh. You put out anybody but Draisaitl and Nuge, or Draisaitl and McDavid, and you're getting fucking fired if they miss that shot.
You're getting fired even if they make it, I think.
Also, momentum change. If the team kills off the 5-on-3, that would also be a massive swing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we're going to get to Struddy in a second. Before we do that, twigandberries.ca. We love them very much. They have a flashy new website, and it is nice and sexy to match their sexy lines of clothing and their own brand of nutsack underwear. Same great style, though. Ooh, Jesus.
I've got a sweet dent in my forehead, Tyler. Look at this. How's that for an ad read?
I don't know how Twig and Berries could fix that, but maybe you go there, pick up a nice cap, use the promo code Nation15, gets you 15% off. They have free shipping in Canada on orders over $100 as well. So many great products. Check them out, twigandberries.ca. I'm going to dial up Jason Strudwick now.
What's his number?
You don't believe in momentum, Yaremchuk?
I believe in it way less than other people.
What?
I
You
just
do
watched
not
this.
understand the mental side of sports.
First question to Struds is that.
No.
Yep, absolutely.
Yes.
We're
Hey,
dead.
Struddy, how's it
Holy
going?
cow, Struds.
Good, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I had to mute
Don't
them
listen to
because
Yaremchuk right now. Do not listen to Yaremchuk right now. Do you believe that momentum is a thing?
Oh yeah, I think it is. I do think it is. Like when you're feeling it, whether you're playing golf or hockey or your investments are going well, or maybe you're getting a lot of numbers with the ladies. It feels so good. There's momentum. And then when it's interrupted for any reason, you got to start it over again. So I do believe there's momentum.
Do you believe that sometimes hockey analysts overblow momentum?
I need to know what
when a team comes out of killing a 5-on-3 penalty, is there legitimately a momentum boost for the other side, or is that just a result of the team that's no longer killing the penalty gets to put their best players back out on the ice and they play a little bit better?
Oh no, you feel it. I can tell you. Let's say you're down. Let's say you're winning by 1, and you take there's Nelson a 5-on-3, and you go out there and you kill it. You come off. You're feeling so good about it. And then your teammates are jacked because now they get to unleash the fury Mitch and get after you. So 100%, man. No, there's definitely momentum. Now,
that went well.
Is there momentum from series to series? In the playoffs? That's maybe a little bit harder to quantify. But if you're playing good, you want to keep playing. I never thought when I was playing well, oh, you know what? I really need a break. When I'm playing badly, I was like, oh man, I could sure use a break right now. So I think that's you're feeling it. You're feeling it out there.
Well, maybe I've grown and become a better person from this debate, and I'm willing to
accept that. Thank you, Struds. This was
disappointed looking Yaremchuk here. Right
now. This was I was shocked that was his take to this. Anyways, Yaremchuk, back to you running the show.
Well, just think about Yaremchuk. Let's say this: you are having great shows. You have 5 days of great shows. Do you look forward to the weekend? I wish I could keep going.
I've had 5 years of nothing but great shows, so let's just get that out of the way right here. I understand that a little bit.
What a nerd.
Wow.
All right. Before we get going, this appearance from Jason Strudwick is brought to you by Vision VR Hockey. Train your hockey brain to see the place to make with their virtual reality simulators located in St. Albert. Go to visionvrhockey.com. Struddy, we've been chewing on a hypothetical so far in this podcast, and this is the hypothetical. The Oilers go into Game 7 against the Winnipeg Jets. The game goes into overtime. You could pick between one of two things to start overtime. Either the Oilers get a 1 minute 5-on-3 advantage, or they get a penalty shot and they get to choose who takes it. Which one do you think Dave Tippett should choose?
Oh, yes.
Wow. So can you recap that again? I just want to make sure I'm clear.
Okay, so
it's against the Jets.
Well, it's Game 7 of a series going. No,
it's against the Jets. That's
against the Jets.
Important.
Sure,
consistency.
Game 7 against the Jets going into overtime. Dave Tippett can either choose, a magic genie's granting him a wish. He can either choose to give his team a 5-on-3 for 1 minute or a penalty shot, and he gets to choose who takes it. Which one does he pick?
I go the power play. I think that I think more opportunities. When you think the penalty shot, you have one chance, one shot. Whereas on a 5-on-3, you might get 3 shots. So that increases my chances, right? Like what's the saying that your grandpa always used to say? What is it? Something about there's better to have 2 birds in a bush than 3 birds in your pocket or something. I forget the saying.
A bird in hand is worth 2 in the bush.
Well, I don't know if that's correct, but you can use that one.
Oh yeah, like Struds is better.
Okay, there we go, Struddy. I'm happy you chimed in on that.
Wait, who am I going against someone heavily today? Yaremchuk, is it you? You want to have the penalty shot?
No.
Well, first of all, Yaremchuk doesn't believe in momentum, so in that case, yes. But I said Struds. I was like, if given the chance, I don't think Connor McDavid versus a goalie on a penalty shot is a 50-50. I think it's advantage Connor.
Really?
And so Struds, the way the momentum conversation came up was I made the point, if Connor McDavid was to miss that penalty shot and then they started a 3-on-3 overtime rate, then that would create momentum the other way for Winnipeg.
It's the playoffs. It's not a 3-on-3.
5-on-5 after.
Whatever, 5-on-5. Fuck. If it starts overtime, the way we came up with the momentum thing was we said if he misses that penalty shot, the other team's going to come into starting the overtime with momentum. And Yaremchuk said that doesn't exist.
But but Struds also said if you kill off the 5-on-3, then there's momentum there. And you've got 2 guys potentially flying out of the box for a deep pass and a breakaway going the other way.
Yeah. It's a great conversation to have, and I do think that like the momentum exists. Like I can tell you in a game when you like the same way. Let's say the Oilers have a power play, the 5-on-3 power play, and they get shut down. it literally loses momentum off your bench or energy, I should say, because you're like, God, we got a 5-on-3. This is going to seal it. We're up by 1. We're going to seal it here. Like, there's no way we're not going to score. And then you don't score, and the next shift isn't quite as good. And the Jets or whoever come out flying because they're jacked. Like, oh my God, we just killed a penalty against one of the greatest power plays of the last whatever number of years, right? So there definitely is that swing, right? And so that's why in games, it's going to be interesting to see, without fans in the stands, if there's still as much of a swing after something like that. Because the fans, like fans appreciate a good penalty kill in Edmonton.
Oh, yeah.
When there's a good penalty kill, they get jacked. And I used to love that feeling. You get it like, Edmonton a little bit, but I played the Rangers. They give us standing ovations for penalty kills. And I got to tell you, like, as a guy that didn't score a lot of goals, that meant a lot to me because that was just effort, right? That's not a lot of skill, let's be honest, but there's some intelligence and some effort that goes into it. And when they recognize that, you're like, that is a sophisticated hockey fan. So I think it's fantastic.
Interesting. All right. Moving along here. The game Oilers Canucks is canceled for tomorrow night. Did they make the right decision postponing this game?
I do. I can't imagine trying to play a game with such little, time to prepare. Like, you're thinking about the Olympic breaks. I think we'd have 10 days off and maybe, I want to say 4 or 5 days of practice, something like that. And it took me till day 4 or 5 to feel like I did prior to the break. Now, I was sick for different reasons during that time. It wasn't necessarily COVID, but still, it takes time to get back. And my biggest thing was does it really matter Vancouver if they win or lose? I don't think it really does. But I mean, no disrespect to Canucks, I don't think they're a playoff team this year. But what I worry about for those players is injury. Yeah. And you're a half step behind, someone blows you up, and now you're out for 6 months. And I know the chance that happening is low, but I believe that chance would be higher than it was if they have a few days to practice and kind of get their feet underneath them.
I want to end it with this one. Can you tell us your best ever shorthanded moment, like ever a junior game where you had to play with less people, anything like that?
Against the Oilers, one of my first game against the Oilers, we're killing a 5-on-3. I'll never forget this. And Corey Cross shoots it off my shin pad. I couldn't believe it. So I go all the way. I block it. And again, I was a D-man. I don't know why I was there. Obviously out of position, which wasn't uncommon. And I jump by him. Now I have like a semi-breakaway on Tommy Salem. So I shoot it, and I don't score. The rebound comes right back to me. I shoot it off the post. It would have been a 5-on-3 shorthanded goal. Like, you want to talk about telling that story. I would have told it daily on anyone who's listening. And I always forget. Afterwards, I came my bike, like, oh my God, it was so close. I'm like, yeah, well, it was close. I didn't get it down, but I wish. Like, I don't really wish for goals. I wish that would happen. It would have been such a great story to talk about it. Oh, you see that snipe of a rebound? Nothing really too special.
I lied. I have one more. What does the addition of Dmitry Kulikov? What does that do for the Oilers' blue line? Is that a significant add in your eyes?
I think it just stabilizes it, right? I think they've been looking for some stability in that top 4. And, I think people have to temper the expectations of Kulikov and who he is or what he provides. I think he's just he's going to move it up. He can move pretty well. He's going to kill penalties. He's going to make it a lot easier. Nothing's going to be too crazy, but I think he's going to make his partner better. And I think whether that partner's Barry or Bear, he's going to understand how to play with those guys because he's been playing with a guy like that in PK Subban. So he's really comfortable playing with a guy who, likes to move up or talk or whatever. So I think there's a great opportunity for that to happen and stabilize that top. Unfortunately for Jones and Rusty and Willie Lageston, that means only 1 of the 3 get in. So, 2 guys are sitting out.
It'll be
interesting.
interesting.
I wish we could get Struds' take, but I can't even remember how Chalmers phrased it with his 5-on-3, 5-on-4.
So Chalmers said,
Can I tell him? If I just tell him, then you don't have to
You go, Charles.
Get it wrong, and then we all have to argue about it again.
You better tell the exact same because you're probably going to correct your wrong.
I will.
Let him go.
Okay.
So what I said was, in 3-on-3, it's super wide open because there's a ton of ice and the chances of an odd man rush are high. If it's a 5-on-3 in overtime and it's only for a minute, that team that's got 3 is going to, and I have to say this, I thought that there was only 1 minute and one team had to score. Now, I thought that the 3 players are just going to sit back, be defensive. So I said, maybe it'd be better to only have a 4-on-3 because then maybe the 3 players on defense would maybe be a little bit more offensive, make a mistake, and generate a couple more odd man rushes for the 4 players. Stupid? Maybe.
Yeah, not maybe. I think you can correct yourself. Take the maybe out of that. Like, can you imagine a coach saying, "Hey, we're going to give you a 5-on-3"? No. We'll take the 4-on-3. We're going to waive a penalty. Penalty. Like,
here's my thing. I thought that he had phrased it as there was only 1 minute.
And
here we go. Had to score.
Jesus, Charles. All right, Struddy, I'm not going to waste your time with this argument.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
No. Before Struds goes, I got a question about playoffs, because you made a comment there that what Kulikov does to the lineup. In your mind, going into the playoffs, you said if you had to choose between Legason, Jones, or Russell, who are you picking opening game one?
I'm going as Rusty, and then Jones, and then Legason. That's my order. And the way those guys play is if someone plays himself out of a spot, right?
Yep.
Or I'm having trouble moving the puck, because I think we all know that that guy can definitely move the puck better than some. As far as Jones, that is.
Yeah. Good stuff.
But let me just comment on that one thing too. So if your football team is like on the 50-yard line, down by 6 points, and someone throws a pass to your favorite receiver and there's pass interference, are you going to wave off and say, "No, we don't want it on the 1-yard line. Let's take it back to the 25-yard line. It gives them a little more room to operate."
I don't know. You're cutting out. We can't hear you very well.
Thanks for doing this, Struddy.
So are you. I wanted to talk more about what your spring plans were. I've got nothing to look forward to right now other than kids' sports. And I need some, you always have good ideas. So what the hell's going on for you for spring? What are we to look forward to these days, buddy?
Yeah, he already hung up.
Oh, he hung up.
I let you run out the question, though.
Yeah, I love it. You're up, Chuck.
He gave us, I wanted him to say disc golf. We need to get him involved in our disc golf.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, we should.
Doesn't that when he came?
Well,
We asked him about winter, right? We asked him about winter. He had some good ideas for winter. And honestly, my whole thing is like right now, I'm like excited for the weekends to watch hockey outside. You know what I mean? And like, there's not much to look forward to. And the sun just makes it that much more apparent that there's nothing to look forward to.
Well, it helps to be able to just go outside, period, even if just going for a walk.
You know what I bought today? Well, I didn't buy it today. I bought it yesterday. No, I bought, so I bought a projector and for an outdoor TV and a big screen. Yeah. And then, and it like actually mounts outside and apparently, and so I got the Shaw guys to come hook up a Shaw box outside. It's going to be awesome. And I'm like, it's little things like that I got to look forward to. But
do you have a hot tub out there by that setup?
This is great.
We do not have a hot tub.
I was going to say
they got
Oilers
those inflatable ones,
tub.
man. They got those inflatable ones that I looked at once, and now I see like 9 million times on my on Instagram. But they're like pretty cheap.
You know what?
I'm unpopular. Those ones.
I'm unpopular as hell today already on this show because of some of my takes. But here's another one. Not a big hot tub guy. Make me tired.
Oh, don't
want to be in
rough one.
When we go skiing and stuff, and everybody wants to go in the hot tub after, and we've all got a really healthy buzz. All I feel like that's doing is just taking the buzz right out of me. It's a vacuum. It's a party vacuum. I'm not a big hot tub guy.
I go in there. I go into a hot tub and leave with a much, much larger buzz.
No, I start yawning. That's not my thing.
That's fair. Hey, but Chalmers, you, and if a hot tub doesn't fit you, that's fine.
Before we keep moving on, because we're going to be doing a little OddsShark chat here in just a second. I need to give some love to the folks at manscaped.com. Head over manscaped.com, click on the little Canadian redirect at the top of the page, and all your pricing will be in Canadian dollars as well. And that is the first step. That is the most important step in your spring cleaning process. Pick up the Lawnmower 3.0. Use the promo code Real Life, and it'll save you 20% off, get you free shipping as well. Manscaped.com. You've heard me do the spiel 100 times. Why have you not gone and used the promo code yet? Come on now. Clean yourself up for spring. Let's go.
It'd be less musky.
Jeez. You took command there, Yaremchuk. You took command. I felt like you were in charge.
I do that. We usually at this point in the podcast.
Very modest today too, Yaremchuk. You've been very modest today. It's nice to see you.
5 years of shows.
Man. Yeah.
All I do is produce good podcasts. Okay. This is usually the point where Scott Hastings joins our show, but it's Iain MacMillan joining us from OddsShark.com. All the sports betting information you need to make the sharper play. Check him out, OddsShark.com. Iain, welcome to the Real Life Podcast. How's it going?
It's going well, guys. Thanks for having me. I'll try to see if I can fill Scott Hastings' shoes here.
It will be Iain, tough. I want to start off with a question here. We're asking everybody.
Yeah.
Game 7. you have the opportunity for your team as a genie pops out and you've got the opportunity to go 5-on-3 for 1 minute or a penalty shot with the player of your choice. And this is for your team to win the game. Which route are you going?
I'll go penalty shot, Austin Matthews all day. I'm a Leafs fan, so I'll put the game on my guy Austin Matthews' shoulders.
I said the same thing about Connor. Nobody's buying.
Nah, more chances on a 5-on-3. It just makes sense. If I said I could give you 1 lottery ticket or 3 lottery tickets, which one would you take? Right? I don't know. Anyways.
I mean, in theory, the issue with 5-on-3, you could give up a goal. I mean, it's pretty unlikely, but you could give up a goal in 5-on-3. You can't give up a goal if you're just getting a penalty shot.
Yeah, that's fair.
Thank you.
Before we keep going, you handle the Bacon Bits podcast for OddsShark, correct?
That's separate from OddsShark. That's just kind of my own podcast. But yes, okay. I rant into a microphone about sports betting for about an hour.
Good stuff. So people want to hear more, they can search out the Bacon Bits podcast. Let's start by talking a little hockey. Trade deadline's a couple days in the rear view mirror now. Did any moves at the deadline change how you view some teams going forward here and down the stretch?
I mean, I'm gonna sound a little bit biased here, but I think you have to say the Toronto Maple Leafs. They got a little bit more grit with Nick Foligno. They got some depth on defense. I mean, and like I said, I'm a massive Toronto Maple Leafs fan, so this is me being extremely biased. But I think it's time to play in the parade route, man. This is our year. The Stanley Cup is coming home to Toronto.
And it's type of bravado that's going to make sure it does not happen for these fans.
I say you are winning over our listeners. I can just tell you.
Yeah. This is an Oilersnation podcast, you know, right?
So yeah, get this guy on the Leafs Nation pods. Anyways, where was I going to go now? I just totally distracted myself. Oh, we like to talk to Scott Hastings about sort of like the different ways you can bet on the NHL. And he's a big fan of like first period over unders outside of just straight up like money lines or spreads. Are there any little NHL bets that you keep an eye on or you track the trends of anywhere you feel like you have an edge?
I usually like to keep my betting pretty simple. Those first period ones, in my opinion, are kind of tricky because if I'm going to place a bet, I want as long as possible because the longer, if I think I handicap a game correctly, the longer the game goes on, the more likelihood that that's going to happen if I think I have an edge handicapping. So I know Scott likes those first period totals. I'm not a big fan of those. I like goal props a little bit if I'm doing it just for fun. No, I don't think betting on goal props is a good way to make money long term. But if I'm going to sit down, maybe have a couple of drinks while I'm watching a game, I'll toss a couple bucks on maybe my favorite player on that team to score a goal. So that's kind of the fun one that I do if it's anything outside of money line or total. Sometimes I like to do alternate puck line. So you guys might know puck line is obviously for a team to win by at least 2 goals. I like to get a little aggressive and sometimes even take like a -2.5 line, -3.5 line if I want to get crazy, if my Leafs are playing maybe the Senators or someone like that.
The only team who dominates the Senators is, in fact, the Edmonton Oilers. So that might be a spot.
That's true.
Those adjusted lines.
Fun fact.
I wanted to chat a little Major League Baseball with you as well. We're very early on in the season. Not even a point where you could say we have like a good sample size or anything. But who have you been liking so far in the baseball season? And is there anyone you're keeping an eye on here going forward?
I mean, I think you have to say that the Cincinnati Reds, I think that'd be a team that a lot of people would say right now with how hot their bats are. Of course, I finally decided to bet on them there yesterday and they lost to the Giants and got completely shut out. And I bet on them because their bats were apparently hot. So I think the Reds, I think we knew that their pitching was going to be decent heading in their season. I didn't expect their bats to be this hot. They're all the way up to 35-1 now to win the World Series. I think that's a team that you got to keep an eye on. And the other team right now that's impressed me so far, and it pains me to say because I mean now I think they've taken over the title of the least likable team in professional sports, and that's the Houston Astros. But 16-1 right now to win the World Series. I think that's a team that you got to keep an eye on. Obviously, an extremely talented squad there in Houston. Sucks to kind of cheer for them if you do have money on them. But yeah, the Houston Astros 16-1. I think they're a team to keep an eye out for as well.
We usually wrap these up with Scott Hastings by asking him to give us some advice. And usually because we like parlays, we parlay them. But any plays tonight, if it's hockey, that's great. Baseball maybe as well. But what are you liking on tonight's slates?
Yeah, so for tonight, man, I kind of like the Athletics in the late game tonight. The Athletics kind of got off to a slow start, especially their offense. But I think a spot that you kind of want to look at in baseball this early in the season is to kind of fade the trends. If there's teams that are doing really well in one area, to kind of go or really bad in one area, and then to kind of bet on them to kind of revert to the mean, revert to the average. The Athletics are a team that I had high hopes for heading into the season. They've disappointed me so far this season. They're taking on the Tigers -170. I wouldn't take the Tiger or the Athletics on the money line. I would go ahead and get aggressive, take them on the run line for them to win by at least 2 runs at +120. So Athletics would be my favorite play as far as Major League Baseball goes tonight.
Any hockey?
I don't have any locked in. I'm just going to bring it up really quick and see if there's anything that sticks out to me. The Islanders, man, and the Islanders -105 against the Bruins tonight. So a very slight underdog. And I had a little bit of a rivalry with the Islanders fan base last season. I called them frauds before the whole pandemic went down. I thought they were going to miss the playoffs, and I thought the pandemic kind of saved them. But so far, I mean, I can't call the Islanders frauds this year. They're a lot better offensively this year than what they were last year. So going up against a Bruins team that hasn't exactly looked great recently. So I like the Islanders as a slight underdog as well.
Perfect. Appreciate your time today, man. This was fun. We'll do it again soon.
Sounds good, man. Take care, guys.
There you go,
buddy.
That is Iain MacMillan from OddsShark joining us on the Real Life Podcast. OddsShark.com. Everything you need to make the sharper play. There you
so
go.
That's Athletics -2?
-1.5.
-1 is the.
You can take a -1.5.
Is there does -1.5 exist? I'm just trying to look. This is why you got to play multiple sports books. -1.5. Perfect.
There you go. Parlay that with the Islanders. It's +330. So it's actually a pretty decent parlay for only having 2 legs to it.
Who are the Islanders playing?
The Bruins.
Oh, I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole.
Who the fuck are the Bruins playing in net nowadays? I know they're getting decent results, but like
Taylor Hall, I think.
I'm fading.
Oh, they are playing Rask tonight, actually. Oh shit.
Yeah, I'm fading your Yaremchuk on that. I'm just going single bet. I gotta rebuild my account. It's been getting a little hammered lately.
Before we wrap things up, because we do have a little bit of time here, I saw a TikTok the other day that said bees can tell time. That blew my mind.
Man, never underestimate bees. Bees are magical creatures.
Insanely organized. And my dad's a beekeeper, Yaremchuk. That's what he does as a hobby. An apiarist, yep. Bees are fascinating creatures if you spend a bunch of time around them. Mm-hmm. I've spent my whole life, we used to have beehives in my yard when I was growing up, and nobody ever wanted to come play at my house as a result. So I'm very familiar with the bee game. It does not surprise me that they could tell time. They could probably send out signals of some kind outside of that. Also, Tyler, you might like to know this. The flavor and the color of your honey is very, very different depending on where the beekeeper puts his hives. What field are they next to? Makes a big difference. Did you know that?
That's interesting.
I'm waiting. When do I get my next batch of dandelion honey bag milk?
You know what? My dad's doing another run here right away. So he's doing run 1 of, he's getting ready. He's preparing his shop for run 1. So when everything starts to bloom, towards the end of the month, early May, I'll have some more for you.
Like how many queens does he have?
Well, he's getting older and, he's in his mid 70s at this point. So he's just kind of maintaining what he's got. But when I was a kid, he used to have 300-400 hives, and they were tall. They were the ones where they're stacked up 6-7 feet high. But now I think he's got about 100 left. And instead of doing the big orders every year where he orders queens from New Zealand, he just kind of maintains what he's got. He builds very, very intricate hive networks now where everything has insulation built right into it, like you would a house, as opposed to wrapping it with that blue styrofoam stuff. So he's leveled his game up, but it's a bummer, man. As your parents start to get older, I cannot ever imagine a day when I don't have fresh, unpasteurized honey in my house.
Oh yeah.
I would like to have one day with that. So feel free, grab me a jar.
Well, then give me I could use you then, Chalmers, because I'm prepping my house to sell. From a construction standpoint, any tips you can give me or areas to address? I know you're not a realtor by any means, but share of houses.
Yeah, I've dealt with a bunch of people that were selling their houses, and the realtors always say, It's all about those showings. It's all about the way you stage it when you're listing it. And I know that a lot of real estate agents will actually offer that service to come in and just help you stage your house, make it more open. I really don't see putting any substantial money into fixing something or that, unless it's like a broken window and it's literally just got a screen on it. I'm talking going around and totally repainting the whole place so that it looks fresh. I just sometimes don't think that's the best use of money. I can't even tell you how many times I've seen people renovate and put down new flooring or all new hardware on their cabinetry to sell their house. And then the people that buy it change it out anyways. Right. And so you just don't know what people's intentions are. The fact is whatever money you put into it, you're not going to get that out. The place is going to sell for what it's going to sell for, whether or not you repaint it or not. So honestly, just make it feel open, make it feel nice and light, and try to make it feel as uncluttered as possible. Clutter is the enemy to the real estate agent.
Well, it's interesting that you said that, so I hate cleaning and packing. I hate moving. Yeah. The only way for me to do it is, I feel like you'd actually respect this, Chalmers. I've been crushing cocktails. I've been emptying out the old liquor cabinet every night. And that's, if I'm going to clean, I might as well do it with a buzz on. And makes a difference, Yeah, my favorite time of night is when everybody goes to bed and I dance clean, about 10 out of 10 drunk and dance clean. And
we need to
that's what we're
this.
talking about.
Oh, it's the best. You start with all the garbage, and then you do all the cans and bottles. The next thing you know, you just have plates and dishes. And if you make a fire, you make a pizza while you're doing it. Oh man, listen to some music in your earphones, so you're not waking up everybody. It's a glorious time to be by yourself.
I live by myself, right? So the other day I was having some rums, and I had I'm collecting pieces of vinyl, and I had some Zeppelin records going. They were blasting. Rums were flowing. It was great.
Pieces of vinyl.
Pieces of vinyl.
Yeah. How many pieces?
Probably about 20 pieces right now. Maybe 29.
Nice. Hey, Chalmers, you want Yaremchuk, you want another fun fact about bees?
Yes.
They have tongues.
Really?
Yes.
Not totally sure I asked for the first fun fact about bees, but sure, I'll take another one.
I just hit you guys with it. I don't know. I saw it pop up and I was like, oh, fuck, that's cool.
I thought you were going to bring up the TikTok that I saw today of Jay crushing some cans. That's what I thought you were
to an amazing song.
What was the song?
We do not have license on the podcast to play that song. So.
Cotton Eye Joe.
Oh, fuck. Oh, well, I mean. Oh. Accidentally hit a button of Jack Michael's talking.
It's funny that you essentially recreated the video I used to post all the time for the Nation.
Yeah. Well, Josh is like, I'm upstairs and you and I are on that interview call. And he's like, do you have 5 minutes for a quick TikTok video? I'm like, sure. So I come out and he's got that all set up. So
I got to unpack this real quick. JR, are you telling me that a normal part of your day is to make TikTok videos?
When I got a few extra moments of time, sure, why not? All in the name of content.
So I could go on TikTok right now, and would this be under the Nation?
Weather's Nation
TikTok account?
Weather's Nation, yep.
Yeah, I'm a TikTok star now.
Wow.
By star, I mean not at all.
TikTok is just one of those things. I don't care how big it ever gets, which is probably the biggest thing in the world right now. I will not be on it.
Oh, Chalmers. If they've got Aqua, if they got license to Aqua, we got to get Chalmers on TikTok.
My
Chalmers,
dad doesn't
I'll
know.
Start sending you prison cooking videos and stuff like that from TikTok. They are the best. These dudes are, I mean, I don't know how they get their phones in. I've got my theories, of course. But some of the videos I learned that this dude, I'll never forget this as long as I live. He cooked a sausage on the stainless steel toilet bowl with a candle he made himself from toilet paper. And I was just like, my mind is fucking blown. This is the best content I've ever seen. I don't even know I have cable anymore, to be honest.
My dad couldn't tell you the difference between Facebook, Twitter, none of that stuff. My dad is somehow all in on TikTok.
Well, I know why he is.
He sends me like golf videos, and I know what you're going. I know what you're going with, but the videos he sends, like the algorithm will cure it for you. He gets like Seinfeld scenes and like old Three Stooges clips. He'll send me and be like, "This was funny." Anyways, me and my dad talk more than ever because of TikTok.
See, bring the people together.
Yep.
Have you hugged yet?
Fuck, have we hugged yet?
Isn't it you that doesn't hug your dad?
Yeah, I don't, and I don't think that will ever change.
Remember when I told you that I like to embarrass my dad in public by kissing him on the mouth, and you blew your mind up?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, such a weirdo.
I love it. It's so funny. He's just like complete shock. It's the best. Tyler, try that one day. I guarantee it'll blow your dad's mind.
I'd be in the hospital. All right. We're going to wrap up episode 273 of the Real Life Podcast here. Shout out to Iain MacMillan from OddsShark. Bacon Bets Podcast is another way you can find him there. Oodle Noodle, Twig and Berries, and Manscaped. If you're going to Manscaped, the promo code is Real Life. If you're going to Twig and Berries, it is Nation15. They're also a sponsor of Blue Jays Nation Radio, which is a great podcast you should check out if you're a baseball fan.
Please, Tyler. I want to know about BJN Radio.
What?
I want to know about the podcast you and Coobs are doing.
After every Blue Jays series, because you know how baseball works, they play, the short series all year. After every series, me and Coombsy take 25 to 35 minutes and we just recap it. And last week, or on our last episode, we had a Yankees fan on because the Jays took 2 or 3 from the Yanks, and he had a full-on meltdown on our podcast. He freaked the fuck out. He was like, they're done. They're not winning anything. This has been a problem for 4 years. He ripped apart the entire fucking team. It was hilarious. Highly recommend, of course, because all I do is put together good shows.
Available everywhere, yes?
Available wherever you get your podcast from. Just like Nation Real Life, we need more reviews on all our podcasts as well. So make sure you go hit us up, leave us a review. We will read it. Shout out to Chalmers J, Bagged Milk, Oodle Noodle, Twig and Berries, and Manscaped. I'm Tyler Yaremchuk. Thanks to you for tuning in. Episode 273 of the podcast is over.
Great job on making it through the entire hour of the Real Life Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts from.